Here's the real harm in it. There are alienated teens out there, alienated young adults. They learn the term parental alienation from One Mom's Battle. They learn it's not real. They will not figure it out. In the world of advocacy for parental rights, one name stands out. Tina Swithin. Notice One Mom's Battle. She presents herself as a champion for distressed parents, navigating custody battles. Behind the facade lies a troubling truth. I do see her as a very, very damaging force that keeps alienated children being abused. I've done other videos about Tina Swithin. I believe I've done 3. This will be my 4th. Tina Swithin has built a platform on the premise of protecting children caught in the crossfire of divorce. However, her methods raise questions about her true intentions. While Swithin positions herself as an educator, she spreads dangerous misinformation about parental alienation, dismissing it as a myth and saying that it is simply a tool for abusive parents to manipulate the legal system. Exploiters in court can exploit anything, especially in family court, where you're not innocent until proven guilty. She claims to have credentials and expert status that she does not have the education or qualifications for. Her tactics are divisive and destructive. She preys on vulnerable parents, vulnerable children who are being abused, and exacerbates conflicts rather than trying to resolve them. Swithin's media appearances, too, paint a distorted picture of family dynamics, often demonizing one parent while portraying the other as a victim or a protective parent. Her online behavior is just as troubling. Tina publicly smears the reputations of other professionals in the parental alienation sphere, professionals who challenge her views. She resorts to character assassination in order to silence dissenters, including me. Behind the facade of One Mom's Battle lies a very dark reality. It's time to question the motives of those who claim to advocate for families while sowing the seeds of discord and distrust. My name is Maddie and welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project. I talk about all things related to parental alienation here on my project. If you're not familiar, parental alienation is a form of severe child psychological abuse that I went through for 20 years, starting at around the age of 9. I figured out that I had been alienated from my dad about 2 years ago now, and I've been speaking out about this form of abuse, forming a coalition of adult survivors, and rebuilding my relationship with my dad. Today's video is quite a long time in the making. We're going to focus on 5 major problematic issues with Tina Swithin, otherwise known as One Mom's Battle, in my opinion. These are all just my opinions. I'm not making any accusations in this video. If you are someone who has been affected by parental alienation, you really need to know about Tina Swithin and One Mom's Battle, because this is something that is really highly disturbing. Someone needs to call her out, and I think a lot of people are just too scared to. So that someone today is going to be me, and these are all my opinions, but in my opinion, there are 5 major problematic things that Swithin is doing, has done, wants to do. 5 is not the limit, but I've narrowed it down to the 5 major things. So here they are. Number 1, Tina Swithin exploits children and teenagers who are going through severe psychological abuse.
Camps, transporters, and Maya and Sebastian Lang. She has a video of the transporters carrying these children, and she made money off of it.
It's bad enough that she exploits children and teenagers at all, but to exploit kids and teenagers who are going through severe trauma and abuse. Number 2, she really lacks credentials, but she claims to have all the qualifications for educating judges, educating therapists, parents, etc. Number 3, she has a coaching system for high conflict divorces. And as I will show you in this video, her courses, which are upwards of $500, teaches people how to fight alienation accusations. So we're going to get into that. Number 4, she publicly slanders all professionals who do not align with all of her beliefs and her agenda. This is really disturbing as well. She has ruined careers, many careers. She has hundreds of thousands of followers, and she will send them after people. Number 5, which is also very disturbing. Number 5 is that she pushes false narratives and stories about families that have faced parental alienation in the media and the news. in order to build her own brand, make money, and to pass legislation that will actually harm alienated kids. One Mom's Battle has a couple pseudonyms, and she runs more than one account with different names. And these go by One Mom's Battle, The Alienation Industry, The Children Are Coming, and more. I've been calling her out since last summer, but it hasn't been until recently that I've noticed other people calling her out online as well. And that really does give me some encouragement because she needs to be called out. So let's start with number one. If you've watched my previous videos, you've seen me cover the children that she exploits. But in case you haven't, I'll put some clips here of how she exploits children.
If you are a teenager or a young adult who has been victimized by the family court system, I would love a minute of your time.
The fact that she's posting these videos about these children's trauma.
To be talking about one of the ways that our mother kept us controlled while she had us in prison.
So one of the ways that our mother had us controlled was by putting alarms on the doors. She gave alarms to the transport agents while we were staying in an Airbnb with Regina Marshall, our therapist, and the transport agents. They put alarms on the doors and windows all the way up to when we were in Washington. There was still alarms on the windows for some of that time.
Yeah, and what about right after unification camp? Where did we go?
Right after reunification camp, we went to Hawaii. She put alarms on the hotel doors, and every single time you opened the door, the alarm would go off.
Like a blaring
Like sound.
Hello, my name is Madison. I am 14 years old, and I have been living in Alaska for 6.5 years with my biological father, stepmother, and brothers.
In October, me and my brother were taken by transport agents after we reported our mother's abuse, and we were sent to unification camp. And in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what the reunification camp was like.
To everyone who sees this video, for 3.5 years, I was separated from my mom. This was in 2016, and I was forced to live with my abusive father. In order to steal me away from my mom, he used a program run by a woman named Linda Gottlieb. This program follows what is called parent alienation theory.
If you had the opportunity to say something to Judge Rebecca Connolly about her orders that sent your friends into this camp, what would you each say to her?
So many things. The whole world is watching! The whole world is watching! The whole world is watching!
Children. I can't even really show you her profile and how she does this without further exploiting these kids. But what I want to focus on with the exploitation of children is this new thing that she's got going on, which is called The Children Are Coming. A few people have sent me this, thechildrenarecoming.com. So I'm going to show you what this new site that Tina has created, this new movement that Tina wants to get going. It's called The Children Are Coming. And as you can see, it says, the children are coming. For decades, children have been treated like property in the family court system. She mixes truth with lies. So that is true, obviously. Parental rights take priority over child safety. Even with allegations or findings of abuse, children and teenagers are often forced into a relationship with a parent that they've rejected. Family court professionals are pushing an agenda of pro-contact at all costs to the detriment of children. A disturbing but lucrative industry has formed in the family court system with an emphasis on reunifying children with the rejected parent. She goes on to write, protective parents find themselves in costly legal battles, desperate to protect their children, but outnumbered by the experts who are profiting from this forced reunification. Even more concerning is the fact that these reunification treatments are considered experimental. The experimental reunification treatments and legal fees are costly. But what happens when these children age out of the system? Their childhoods are documented by extensive court files, and they are left to unpack a lifetime of trauma. The children are coming, she says. Their heartbreaking stories will be the catalyst for change. It is our goal to bring these young adults together and amplify their collective voices. But this is the disturbing part. Yeah, it gets worse. So if you go to submit your story, pretend like you're one of these kids and you go to submit your story. This is what the information that Tina gathers. Your name, date of birth, phone number, email, address. So that's pretty typical. But then she goes on and she asks for the names of the family court professionals involved in your case, the names of the judges involved in your case. Was your safe or protective parent accused of alienation? Were you or your siblings sent to a reunification camp? Tell us your story in 3,000 words or less. Here's the difference between Tina's agenda and reality, in my opinion. People who've been alienated as kids, like myself, like many other people in our group, people I've met now, people on our leadership team, we recognize that exploiters in court have exploited parental alienation, and because there are not enough safeguards in place, for example, mental health professionals in court to be able to diagnose and treat these children effectively, sometimes the exploiters can get away with getting their kids back or getting reunification therapy maybe once in a blue moon ordered when they really are not truly going through parental alienation. That is a tragedy. I think that's terrible. That should never happen. Everybody that I've talked to agrees with me. Like, we acknowledge that has happened. That is not okay. And we want that to change too, because children should not be forced to have a relationship with an actually abusive and dangerous parent. The difference with Tina is that she's such a black and white thinker. She can't realize that although there are people in court exploiting this abuse to try to get their kids back unjustifiably, she can't see the nuance to realize that parental alienation truly exists. Both are true at the same time. She doesn't want to acknowledge that I exist, for example. My story flies in the face of everything that she purports. So she sees me trying to put together a coalition of adult child survivors of parental alienation, and she's trying to put together a group, the Children Are Coming, of children who have been forced to have a relationship with their abuser, whether or not these children are still alienated and they don't know it, or if they actually were not alienated and one of those cases where their parent was just... It's so counterintuitive because she's denying reality. Actually, that's really familiar to me. Children Are Coming, it's really not a great website. So I want to read you, one of these parents sent me an email, and this is what they said. While I was in court and paying for reunification therapy and being alienated from my children, I saw my ex with my kids protesting reunification therapy on One Mom's Battle's Facebook page. There they were, protesting reunification and protesting our judge who had just ordered previous alienated kids into a reunification camp. My kids were not seeing me in person or following me on social media, but they were following One Mom's Battle, and they were following these other kids who had been sent to a reunification camp. I have the video saved. I haven't found a proper time to use it in court, but then again, nothing I present in court matters because alienation isn't real? ? I often wonder how my judge is affected by the bad publicity she got trying to make a stand about alienation, and then I walk in crying about alienation also. My ex simply said she doesn't want to participate in reunification therapy, so they stopped coming. Mediator says they are alienated. Reunification therapist Shannon Seeley wrote a masterful and expensive report about how my kid's mom is alienating them and nothing ever happens. It's been 5 years of hell and counting. I've spoken to another targeted parent who was going to get his kids, so they were going to change custody and everything and do reunification program and reunification therapy, and One Mom's Battle actually showed up at the courthouse to make this huge deal out of it. It just traumatized the kids. They had all this media there taking pictures and videos and then screaming and yelling and fighting. She posts all these videos and pictures, and she posts all about it on her website. It's bad enough that families are in family court, having the government decide what's best for their family, but add in this 50-year-old woman who has nothing better to do with her time than to spread false information. And she does, and media outlets and news outlets, they do listen to her. They do cover the side of the story that she wants to put out, and only that side of the story. That's why I'm making this video. The fact that this 50-year-old woman has been contacting underage kids, minors, to try to help them smear their parent online, smear their parent's reputation, talk about their abuse, alleged or real, online to millions of strangers. Let's move on to number 2. Her lack of credentials, but she claims to have all the qualifications in the world. Tina Swithin has no credentials, guys. She has no credentials. She went through what she calls a Category 5 divorce hurricane a decade ago. That's all the credentials she has. She says, our mission at One Mom's Battle is to raise awareness and educate family court professionals on post-separation abuse. So parental alienation is on that coercive control wheel. It's part of the post-separation abuse. So it's just so weird that she's in this space but denies parental alienation can happen. And she's against 50-50 custody. But here's what I want to show you about her website. This is going to cover my points number 2 and number 3, because number 3 is about her courses that she offers. So if you go back about here and you go to divorce coaching, safeguarding your case from claims of parental alienation. So I would say the third most problematic thing about Tina Swithin are her courses online. She's literally giving people courses of how to safeguard your case from claims of parental alienation. This is exhausting. It's $110 to get immediate access. So yeah, she's profiting off of these desperate parents. Divorcing a Narcissist one-on-one is an $80 course where you can learn how to stand firm in your truth. Oh my gosh, you can get the ultimate warrior package. It's $465, but don't worry, it says that it includes $150 savings. And who are these divorce coaches? What are they qualified by? What governing body? What education do they have? If you go right here, program founder and director, Tina Swithin, and she asserts herself right here as an expert. She says Tina Swithin is an expert on navigating child custody and co-parenting issues when a narcissist is involved. So what education does she have? What certifications does she have? How is she calling herself an expert? She claims to be an expert because she has been in the family court system, like millions of other parents. She's not an expert, in my opinion. And I can say that she's not an expert just as easily as she can claim that she is an expert, because I don't think she is. So you can find her coach, and it says here, coaches listed on our website have been certified through the High Conflict Divorce Coach Certification Program that Tina put together. So all of these people are just mouthpieces for Tina Swithin. And this is actually really dangerous because she's spreading her messages and helping people in court. So how long does it take to become a certified coach? This is a self-pay 8-week course of pre-recorded videos and Zoom meetings. This is so crazy. I don't know at what point the abuse that I lived through and millions of other children are currently going through became politicized. And then she has education. Okay, so this is where she's trying to educate judges particularly. But another thing that she does that's really dangerous is on her website, she finds professionals that do not align with her agenda. And she makes a little graphic that says, tell me about, and then she has their picture on it. For example, tell me about Dr. Burnett, and it has a picture of him. I think that people have even called their workplaces. In the comments, they were talking about that. I just called their workplace to try to get them fired. They slander their work, their appearances, their lifestyle, their family. It's ridiculous. And so she's destroying people's careers, and it's all because she wants everybody in the world to believe that parental alienation doesn't exist. And so I actually commented on one of these the other day. Let's see if I can find it. So I said, you really think it's appropriate to slander other professionals publicly like this? And people really got worked up. But after, 4 or 5 months of trying to get Tina Swithin to respond to me, she finally responded. So something great came out of this comment. One Mom's Battle said, Anti-Alienation Project, can you tell me what would be considered slanderous in what we posted? I went ahead and took the opportunity and ran with it. I said, hi Tina, thank you for finally answering me. I am a child survivor of parental alienation. I went through this for 20 years, alienated from my dad. I know that you care about family court corruption, and so do I. I'm concerned that while you might have good motives to protect people from being falsely accused of PA, you harm millions of children actually suffering by denying the abuse and trauma they endure. I would really like to talk to you about this. More and more child survivors are coming forward every day. And man, I was hopeful that she would respond. I waited, went to go check her page and no longer existed, so she blocked me. That's the thing about Tina Swithin. She doesn't want to acknowledge that there is another side to this. She doesn't want to acknowledge that people like me who've been through it as a child exist, because that challenges everything that she endorses. Judicial wall of shame. Judge Christine Goldsmith
So they just comment on these, and it can get kind of out of hand. They just discredit, they say anything they can about these women. They even call their workplaces. Just to give you an idea, here's an example. So these women really took off criticizing this professional's looks. We have comments like, "Yikes, that photo is uncanny valley territory. She put a filter on that picture. I can't even. Laughing hard at the photo. Artificial intelligence." So there really is no level that they will not stoop to. Need more Botox and filters. I know, maybe there's a rich abuser who needs custody of his kids. Just looking at her, something seems off. Does she model on the side? It's her Tinder pic. OnlyFans. This person, though, they're awesome. They gave me some hope in humanity. She says, "Why not talk about the judges and attorneys that do good as well? I know a few, and not all are bad. I think you're doing an injustice to the ones who are helping people." Nina says, "Agree. This one mom's battle is so dangerous." Thank God some people can see through it.
Here's the real harm in it when you break it down. There are alienated teens out there, alienated young adults. They learn the term parental alienation from one mom's battle. They learn it's not real. They will not figure it out. Thank God I didn't learn the term parental alienation from Tina Swithin. And she just has the nerve, and nobody comes after her. Nobody comes after her. Tell me about Tina Swithin. Do you have experience with Tina Swithin? My God, if she can't take what she gives out, then she shouldn't be on the internet. She pushes false narratives and stories about the families who are going through these cases. Further dividing father and child, mother and child, siblings. It's really destructive. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you found it insightful or helpful. Comment below about what you think. See you next time. Bye.